Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following confession that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a message that we received. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. The message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Please post my story as anonymous. I am a South African pastor. I went and I did very dark rituals in Zim, and I did these rituals to grow my own church. Your people, what they have done to me, they have ruined me, they have ruined my marriage, they have ruined the health of my two daughters, and I only have 8 months left to live. All that I did was to go and to donate my car, which was a VW Amarok that I donated to a Zim sangoma after he had promised me so much great wealth, but there is nothing that I have gotten in return. I am crying out so loud, considering the fact that I only have 8 months to live. I never knew that this was going to happen. I do not encourage other South Africans to cross the border seeking money rituals. How are you, brother? Post for me is anonymous. I am a 55-year-old man. I am married with 2 children, and I have another child as well with another woman. I am living here in Johannesburg. I'll change the place that I am living, and I'll say that I'm staying in Kempton Park. My story, it started with someone that was who wanted to do good things to other people, but I did not know what else to do until I was encouraged by other pastors to go and to seek for spiritual powers. I had one pastor that I was very good friends with. He was from Zambia. This man, he had been staying in South Africa for the longest time. After his wife had passed away, that was when he told me that he was moving back to his country. So this man, he had a lot of money. He also assisted those that were struggling in the location where they had their church. And when I tried to borrow money from him, he said, my brother, if you want something that will give you money for the rest of your life, I encourage you to follow me to Zambia. I knew very well what he meant. He wanted to go with me to a sangoma, which he told me a short story about when they met him and his wife. The wife was failing to fall pregnant as quickly as they expected that she was supposed to fall pregnant for him. And then that was when they decided to go to a healer who gave them something that he said they had been using all this time to have a lot of money, and they profited for giving money to poor people. That money would return with the good luck that would be the good luck that a person is born with. He said that, follow me. He gave me his phone numbers, but I think that God did not want me to do money rituals. I always kept this phone number in the car. These were Zambian phone numbers in my car. I did not want my wife to find out about this. One day when I was fast asleep, then I heard my wife, she was playing loud music. I woke up and I was screaming in pain because my wife, she had emptied everything that was in the car. She was cleaning. I then asked her for this other little piece of paper that had the phone numbers of the Zambian pastor that my wife did not like very well. My wife said that he's very weird. He seems to be an occultic pastor. So she destroyed that little piece of paper. I tried to join up the phone numbers so that I can call, but they were saying that does not exist. So I stayed like that. I was someone that was not successful. I was just struggling in life. And now that I'm successful, the first thing that I want to tell people is this: every successful person has a secret. Some secrets people die with without ever revealing them. All that you can see is a person driving their beautiful car, enjoying their money, going on a vacation with the wife, but you do not know the things that they do when all of you are fast asleep. When you are doing rituals, there is no rest. When it says that there is no rest for the wicked, this means people like me, we do not rest. Each and every night, you are confronted by your own demons, literally your own demons. They confront you each and every night. And the worst part, as for me, is to know that I am about to die. This year, I am going to die. And if I die right now, what kind of a legacy am I going to leave behind? Because I have been told by the sangoma that before you die, you're going to be exposed and everyone is going to know that you were never a true pastor. That is something that scares me quite a lot, that when I think that one day I'm going to be exposed and people are going to know that I was involved in all of these rituals, which I did simply because I wanted to have money so that I can keep on giving to the poor people. So there are secrets that can really destroy you. What I did in my life, I regret it each and every day. If I had known, I would have waited for God's time, but because I wanted quick success, I ended up using dark rituals, and now I am paying a heavy price. This is how it all started. I grew up in a good family. My father was a pastor of a church. I won't mention the name of the church here. We were raised inside of a Christian home, always praying and going to church. When my father passed away, I was already a grown-up man. I was around 35 years old. When my father passed away, there were a couple of things that happened that were very weird. I have one of my auntie, when we went to the mortuary to collect my father's body, because this is how we had planned. We would go into the car and collect his body, then travel in a convoy back to KZN so that he can be buried there in KZN. When we arrived at the mortuary where they had been keeping my father's dead body, somehow things that happened there, they were quite weird. One of my auntie, she collapsed and then she started to confess. She said that she was a witch. Even though I was a Christian, but I had never had any spiritual encounter hearing people confessing that they were witches. She said that she had been forced by other witches from the village and she was crying and she was saying that she did not want us to go to KZN to bury my father in KZN. The other relatives asked him why she did not want us to go and bury my father in KZN. She said because the witches, they are waiting them. I can see that my other friends, they are waiting with plates and knives, fork and knife in hand, because they are saying that our beef is coming. We are going to enjoy once they bury him. So let us bury him here in Johannesburg. So since she was someone that people used to say that she had a mental illness, everyone just thought that maybe she was running mad, she was traumatized by losing her own brother. But from that day, I started to think much more about spirituality. I started being strong when it comes to praying. I would pray day and night without even resting. I was always praying. So I then decided to start my own church, chasing away the spirit of poverty in the family, chasing away as well the spirit of witchcraft in my auntie's house. It was a small church, just a family church when I started. But slowly, people started coming to my church. People started paying their offerings, paying me money. For the first time in my life, I started to see money. And when this money was coming to me, it was no longer about God. When people would give less, then I would be angry, saying that these people, they've given me money that can't even buy anything. But if people would give a lot in my church, then I would be so happy. Even the way that I would be preaching and praising the Lord on that day, everyone will say that, did you feel it? The pastor was in the zone today. But the day when they were not giving a lot of money, I'll just preach and just motivating them to go and work. So this is where I really got it wrong, because it was now all about money. It was no longer about God. I wish that I had just been a pastor in someone's church, because when you are a junior pastor in someone's church, it protects you because you are getting your salary. Now I was calculating each and every service. After a service, if I could walk away with 1,000, I would be so much happy. This was something that used to make my wife to be so angry when we were at home. Whenever I would say, look, we have made 1,000. I hope that next week we can even make more money. So my wife said that you have changed. You have changed. And I had certainly changed. I realized suddenly that church can be a business. This was the beginning of my own downfall. There was no more coming back from there. So the desires that I had, Brother Nashi, it was just too much. I started following other pastors. That is how I met this pastor from Zambia who confessed to me that they had a small thing that they were using to make a lot of money from their church, even though he was not that much open with me. So I was following these pastors, especially those from nearby countries like Yozim as well as Zambia. I wanted to understand how they became so powerful, how they managed to become so rich. That was when I got that piece of paper, and my wife, she destroyed that piece of paper. So I no longer had any access to speak with that pastor again from Zambia. I started to think of other ways that I can manage to go to Zambia, but I was scared to go to Zambia on my own. I started to follow a famous prophet from Zimbabwe. I started following him closely. Eventually, I got a chance to speak with him. I then traveled to Zim and I met him in person. I told him about my vision, that I wanted a big church, I wanted followers, and I wanted a lot of money. I was tired of just telling people to bring tithe each and every month. Can you bring your tithe? I wanted to be self-sufficient so much that even if it happens that someone does not even bring a single cent in my church, the church can still manage to pay its own bills. Even if someone did not have any money, they can come to my church, they can enjoy church time. That was all that I wanted. Honestly speaking, I did not want to keep on borrowing money from my church members, sometimes being unable to repay back the money that I would have borrowed to them. Was it too much to ask for to be self-sufficient? Please tell me, guys. So then that was when I was speaking with this man, and he told me that it was possible that he could assist me, and he became open with me after he had told me that he wanted seed money. That was the beginning of me sending money to him, sending money to the prophet, as he was telling me that in order for me to get something from him, I was supposed to at least send him some money. And he said that this money, it was a lot of money that was needed, which would be like a seed offering. And then I was called to Zim back after I had managed to raise the money that I did not have the first time around. Around 9 p.m., I still remember that was when I met him. He said, "My son, I see that you have a strong heart. I see that you want success. If you want followers, a lot of them, you need strong spiritual backup. You must do things that normal people cannot do." Then he told me something that changed everything. He said that he knew of this other traditional healer, a sangoma from his own country, a man that could assist me, that was going to make things okay for me, and I can start to have a lot of followers that will be coming to my church. I asked him about the consequences, and he said that he was in no position to tell me what kind of consequences that I was going to be facing if it would happen that me and that traditional healer, we would come to an agreement, and then that traditional healer was going to assist me, because what he had told me was that this healer, he does not assist each and every person that comes to his shrine. It is only a few that are selected. If you are lucky enough, maybe this man is going to assist you, but I cannot tell you that when we go there, this is what is going to tell you, and these are going to be the conditions. You just need to pray to your ancestors, pray to him that this sangoma is going to agree to assist you. So I waited. There was another pastor that he was waiting for. This was a pastor that came from Botswana. We then went to this other area that I will never forget, which was in the villages in Jipinge. I thought that by doing this, I was going to have a big church. Every South African was going to know about me. When we arrived in Chipinge, we left the car that we had and we started walking into the bushes. We walked for about 5 kilometers, climbing hills. The place we reached did not look normal at all. There was this other sangoma that was there, and I spoke with the sangoma. The sangoma, even though he was non-South African, he said, "Speak with me in your language," and he understood each and every language. Even the guy from Botswana, he was speaking in his own language. And then that was when I was given a condition to make a lot of money. For 10 years, I was told that I was going to be having money. I will have the choice to grow my church. I will do whatever that I want. Then I was going to die. So when you are thinking about money, even to someone that is poor right now, 10 years, it seems as if it is a long time. I convinced myself that this was worth it, but the money that was needed, it was a lot. Brother Nash, I rushed back to South Africa. I smuggled my own vehicle and I pretended as if it was stolen, and I went with it to Zim. I sold off my car to him and I gave it to that sangoma, and they went with it to Mozambique, because the place where we were is not even that far from Mozambique. They just drove it to Mozambique without even having any papers. They said that they were going to sort out the papers in Maputo. It was needed by another rich woman there in Maputo who wanted an Amarok, which was like the one that I was driving, a silver one. So when I gave him the car, I stayed there for 4 days. Those were like the darkest days of my life. I was taken to a graveyard. I was told to remove all of my clothes. I slept naked on top of a grave the whole night. I was told to speak to the dead person and ask them to rise and to help me. I was given fresh god blood. They gave me a god's head and medicine. I was told to bury it when I returned back to South Africa before sleeping with my wife. I came back to South Africa, but my wife, she was very suspicious of me. I could not manage to go to the church to bury that God's head. It started decaying whilst it was in the boot of my car, and then she opened and she saw it. I did not even know what to say to her, but I lied and I said that I had forgotten. We went to this other braai. We cut off the god of that head, and then we forgot to remove it from the boot of the car, the other one that I had. So my wife, she messed up my rituals before I had even started. Money started coming, but it was not a lot. Then my children, they started to have a lot of problems. Last year in November, that was when I saw a topology for the first time in my life. All of a sudden, we started to have a problem with cockroaches that were destroying everything. The TV was dead. The fridge was dead. Have you ever seen cockroaches that stay inside of a stove, even making the stove to go dead? That is how bad things had gotten. And then that was when one day when I said, let me climb into the ceiling, because we had been spraying all over the house each and every night with doom, but nothing was changing. When I was climbing, that was when I saw a toboloshi. Now this is what is your brother from your country is saying. He wants 43 cows, and I'm supposed to give him cash for these 43 cows so that he can remove the topology from my house. Where am I going to get all of that money? I am not that rich to raise so much clean money and go with it to Zim. I gave him my car, but he robbed me. I have only 8 months left to live. I cannot tell the people openly, because if I just confess openly, people will say, oh, so this pastor was pretending to be a man of God, yet he was a ritualist. Please, I beg you, Do not go on Facebook and you see someone and you say that this man is a man of God. Some of us, we are fake. We are using dark spiritual powers. Oh, how I regret. If I die, I know that I am going straight to hell. Dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to us by one of our dear brother. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. This was another episode that I was supposed to post yesterday, but the Wi-Fi is just refusing to post. So we are just forcing to post these episodes today. Let us meet again in the following episode.